What's up guys, it's Danny Techaholic and welcome back to a brand new video. So this is going to be a similar video to what I previously have done a couple of years back during a Black Friday budget build. This video is basically going to be a similar PC build for around $700-ish to $750. I chose most of these products not just from a budget perspective but also for people that might want a certain company such as AMD or Intel if they're looking for a certain CPU or GPU. So for this video, I'm going to cater towards people that are into an all AMD build. I will also give recommendations at both the end of this video as well as future videos towards other parts that I think might be a better alternative, say if you have a higher budget, or even take a step down if you are really on a tight budget, as well as any other recommendations and any other type of budgets that you have, such as $500, $1,000, $2,000. I'll probably make a video on it in the future. And I will be doing a PC build later in the month with the new Ryzen 3 chips coming out sometime at the end of this month when the lineup comes out. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell notifications to get notified of my latest uploads. And with that being said, let's get right into the parts. So starting off, we are going with the Ryzen 5 2600 CPU. It comes with 6 cores and 12 threads for around $150 on Amazon at the time of this recording. The main reason why I chose the last gen Ryzen 2 over the current gen Ryzen 3 would be that the actual benchmarks are in close proximity because they are both 6 core and 12 thread processors, as well as the Ryzen 2600 is also $25 to $30 cheaper, and you can actually find them a lot cheaper on eBay or Facebook Marketplace than the 3rd gen Ryzen processor currently. And I'm also going to talk about that a little more with the motherboard that I chose. So for the motherboard, I chose this actually because I actually installed this in one of my old computer builds, which is the MSI B450M motherboard. It comes with 2 DIMM slots for up to 32 gigs of RAM. The reason that I chose this motherboard for the build is because not only is it affordable for this price point for this certain type of build, but it also comes with the ability to upgrade to 3rd gen Ryzen if you have the budget, which is mainly why I chose the 2600 CPU without having to download or update any other BIOS, because out of the box it's Ryzen 3rd gen ready. Next is the RAM. Since the motherboard is only limited to only 2 DIMM slots for RAM, we're going to install a single stick of G-Skills Ripjaws clocked at 3200 megahertz, which is 16 gigs, which should be enough to run most, if not all, the most popular AAA titles out today and most editing softwares, as well as some light live streaming on Twitch or YouTube or Mixer. For storage, I highly recommend anybody that is getting into computer building or PC building that for the boot drives that you should always have an SSD. That's the main component that you really need for storage. So the one I completely recommend, because it's both affordable and you get enough storage space for not just editing software but any type of games that you have on either the Steam marketplace or any other AAA titles, or basically any battle royales such as Fortnite, Apex Legends, etc. So I chose this 250 gig SSD from Crucial, which should be plenty enough to install both Windows, any of the games that I just listed, as well as any other editing softwares, or if you're into graphic design as well. You can always upgrade later down the line to have a higher capacity hard drive or a higher capacity SSD, but for right now we're only going to focus on the SSD to get any drivers that are mandatory for your computer to actually work, so like Windows, any BIOS information, or any graphics card software. And speaking of graphics cards, I've changed my mind a couple of times with picking out a GPU for this build. This was the best bang for the buck because I can actually find this GPU for around $200, not just on eBay but also on Amazon and Facebook Marketplace. So I went with the C from Radeon. This should help you get started with most AAA titles and light gaming as well as graphics work or designing, and is great for this budget at the moment. If you want to upgrade, I highly recommend either a 5600 XT, a 5700 XT, or if you're on the Nvidia side, I would highly recommend, if you're looking for the same type of price point, either the 1650, the 1660, or if you have a little more in your budget, possibly the RTX 2060. Next is the actual case and the power supply that all the components are going to be stored in. So I went with the Cooler Master Q300L, which is mainly because between all the listings, this case actually popped out versus everything else that was just basically black and didn't have any type of RGB. The RGB fans also come with the case, as well as it being affordable around, I think, $50. And the power supply is the classic, which is the EVGA 500 watt power supply. This power supply is extremely well known around the entire PC space, and it is also affordable, and EVGA is such a reputable company for this category, and I use them in plenty, if not most, of my computer builds, so I highly recommend a power supply from EVGA. And that's basically the entire build. At this time that I recorded, the price is around $660, including shipping for all these parts. You can also find some of these parts a whole lot cheaper on other websites, and I will be making an entire video on that later this month as well, to sort of scour the internet to find the best deals for the components that you may need in your future PC build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The parts list will be one of the first links in the description box below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video.
Straight from the depths of Queens, leave you sleeping on the mezzanine. Like you Lincoln, then switch it to a desert scene. Often heard, but this motherfucker seldom seen. I'm throwing blows while you waiting for the bell to ring. Drug smoking, razors make the pasta sweet. Slumped over when the barrel in your posture meet.